And they are the engine that is driving our organization forward. So if you're in Loudoun County and you haven't signed the recall petition, go back there to the blue tent. If you're in Fairfax County, you can go back there to the white tent. Now, I echo what Alicia said about coming to Loudoun County. I came to Loudoun County 3 years ago from Alexandria, and one of the things that led us here was the reputation of Loudoun County Public Schools as one of the best school systems in the country. But what we have found here is a drift away from excellence in education, a drift away from meritocracy, and a new mission where all students must finish in the same place. And we also found a school board that shows contempt and hostility to open meetings laws, to the First Amendment, to their own code of conduct. They mock parents, they ignore parents, they even have text messages where they declare war on parents. And they don't listen to anybody or cater to anybody except the special interests and the high-paid, taxpayer-funded consultants that are basically running our schools right now. And so that is why we are recalling this school board, because of their unwillingness to follow the laws that bind them and that require them to engage in transparency and accountability to their constituency. Now, unfortunately, these things have started to bleed into the classroom. We've seen teacher trainings where educators are instructed to look at children as part of an identity group, not as individuals with their own special talents, skills, goals, and hopes. We've seen controversial and divisive social issues and philosophies on how to look at the world as early as kindergarten. We've seen age-inappropriate materials through their Chromebooks, through the books they've been assigned in class. And now we have a generation of students that are afraid to speak up in class about their beliefs. They don't want to get a bad grade, they don't want to get canceled, they don't want to be put on this anonymous reporting tool for wrongthink. And that is not how you educate children of any age. Diversity of thought is so crucial. It allows for critical thinking and for our children to develop into future leaders.
Amen.
But you're also seeing these changes at a structural level. Loudoun Academies. This school board has taken a cleaver to the admissions process of Loudoun Academies. They've gotten rid of geometry as a prerequisite. They've gotten rid of several merit assessments as prerequisites, and they've reduced testing. And that sends a very clear message to the community, and especially to our growing immigrant community that makes up a very large portion of Loudoun Academies. And that is hard work, studying, practice are no longer the priorities of Loudoun County Public Schools. But unfortunately, it does not just end here in Loudoun County. It comes from Richmond. And you've seen it. They want to eliminate advanced math courses before 11th grade. They want to eliminate advanced diplomas. And they say this because of, quote, the inequities of math and the traditional biases associated with excellence in math. Well, they're going to have to work on that messaging, because we did a poll in Fairfax and Loudoun County 2 weeks ago. And the one thing that we found where everybody agreed, Republicans, Democrats, independents, is they are opposed to those measures.
That's right. Hear, hear.
And you know who else is opposed to those measures? China. China is not worried about getting rid of meritocracy in math. China has been outperforming the United States in every metric: reading, writing, math, science. But it's not just China. Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, Estonia, Finland, Canada, to name a few. Now I'm going to do something unpopular here. I'm going to quote a Democrat, JFK. He said, "Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education." And if we continue to fall behind these countries, we will be also-rans at the world stage in the future. Now, I want to say a brief word about history, because I keep seeing all these arguments that if you're opposed to, Virginia or Loudoun County's push towards equity or critical race theory, that you don't want accurate history taught. Nothing could be further from the truth. The histories of the United States and Virginia are complex, as are all histories. There is no utopian society out there where everywhere has been a perfect step all the time. They don't exist, they won't exist. And yes, it is very important that we look at the mistakes we have made in our history. The whats, the whens, especially the whys and the hows, so we do not repeat them. But we cannot solely judge our history through this negative lens. We lose all the stories of bravery, courage, character in the face of insurmountable odds from ordinary people committed to a more perfect union and valuing life, liberty, and happiness for all. Now, I wasn't born in Virginia. I've been here for about 8 years. I grew up in New England. Spent most of my adult life in Boston. And Boston, if you live in Massachusetts, they call it the hub, meaning the hub of the universe, because that's very much sort of the attitude there. And there are several reasons for that. And so I don't upset my team at Fight for Schools. I'm not going to spend any time discussing the 6 Super Bowls. But I But I will talk about how Boston was the spark that lit the fire that gave rise to this nation. You can't go anywhere in Boston without seeing that, or without being reminded of it. But when you got down to the Second Continental Congress in 1775, that's where Virginia had to take the lead. Washington, Jefferson, Patrick Henry, Richard Henry Lee, George Wythe, the Declaration of Independence, they were crucial in unifying the colonies, declaring independence, and defeating Great Britain. And then when we ratified the Constitution, again, it was one Massachusetts president in between 4 Virginia presidents at the start of our nation. And they led us to the beginning of where we are now. And now it is time for Virginia to lead again. The eyes of the nation are on this state, especially when it comes to education. And we need to recommit to excellence in education, to building hardworking students that are mentally tough, competitive, compassionate, and committed to achieving the best that their skills will allow them to achieve. And it is up to us as parents, it is up to teachers, and it is up to the school system to get that done. We cannot wait for leadership. Now is the time. Carpe diem, we need to seize the day before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Next, we have Delegate John McGuire.
Loudoun County, I couldn't be more proud of you and Alicia and everyone else for standing up and being an example and for pushing back for not only Virginia, but our nation. I think we would all agree our children are number one. And I just wish these radical leftists loved our children more than they hate our country. What do you guys think about critical race theory? How many of you are sick and tired of this anti-American agenda that they are spreading throughout the Commonwealth and our country? I'm telling you, our country was founded in the church, and we believe that our rights come from God, not a piece of paper, and not a man. We are very blessed to live in America. Life is tough, but it's amazing. Isn't it great we live in a country where a man or a woman can work hard, a man or a woman of any race, religion, or creed can work hard and achieve just about anything. Life is tough, but it's a miracle and it must be protected. I know something about that. I was born and raised in Virginia, and I was abandoned as a child. And by the way, my name is John McGuire, and I'm running for re-election in the Virginia House of Delegates. And by the way, I have Patrick Henry's seat. He was the voice of the revolution. I've got some big shoes to fill. I promise you I'm much better with a rifle than giving a speech, but I hope I can make you proud today. But I was abandoned as a child. I ended up in foster homes. I attended 9 different elementary schools. But I worked hard, and I became one of the youngest snipers in Navy SEAL history. I started a business from scratch that my family members and Navy SEAL brothers told me would never work. And now we're training corporate teams and people in push-ups and sit-ups and leadership and teamwork all over the world. My wife and I have 5 children. She says I'm number 6. But we have to all agree that our children are number 1. And by the way, if you are law enforcement, if you are a veteran, will you raise your hand? Let's give them a round of applause. You know, we wouldn't have a country without you. Thank you so much for your service. As long as we have men and women willing to lay down their life for us, we will continue to have a country. So thank you again for that. I really appreciate it. Well, I think our military brothers, our law enforcement brothers and sisters will certainly relate to what I'm about to say. In the military, we always say if somebody saved your life on the battlefield, would you care about their skin color? Would you care if they were male or female? Would you care if they were tall or short or fast or slow? I wouldn't care about their political views or even their religious views. What the great thing about the country is this is the greatest land of opportunity, again, where you can work hard and achieve just about anything. But these radical leftist policies have turned our lives upside down and inside out, especially for our children. What do you guys think about defund the police? You know, as a legislator, I put in a bill last year to put an armed police officer in every public school in Virginia. And they killed it. And I understand here in Loudoun County, they're trying to remove your SROs. Is that right? It's just unbelievable. If our children are number 1, we have to keep them safe. What do you guys think about a school board system that uses words like equity to eliminate advanced classes and advanced diplomas? What do you guys think about that? And they're doing that because they're saying that they're racist. But what they're really doing is they're making Virginia children less competitive with the 49 other states. Does that make any sense to you guys? I'm going to tell you, you guys have some choices to make in November. What do you guys think about critical race theory? It basically teaches our kids to hate one another. I'm going to tell you what, we live in an incredible country where everyone has an opportunity if they work hard. And you cannot fight hate with more hate. And you cannot fight racism with more racism. I think you guys would all agree with me, especially the mothers, that we need more love. What do you think? Yes. Well, listen, what I would say is, I'm going to say it again, is I just want to know when these radical leftists are going to love our children more than they're going to hate our country. Everybody say, we the people. We the people. I'm going to give you some good news. We the people have a decision to make in November. And we have a point guard. We have a quarterback. We have a leader coming our way. And he is unlike the dividers we've had for years in Virginia. He's a uniter. A good leader brings people together and leads them to a better place, not a worse place. And that leader, and by the way, as a Navy SEAL, as a father, as a leader in our community, as a business owner, I know a leader when I see one. And that leader is Glenn Youngkin. Now, I'm a constitutional conservative. And again, people ask me all the time, are you a Democrat or Republican? I tell them I'm an American. And that message is what resonates with me, and that's Glenn Youngkin. He plans to be your governor to serve all Virginians. He's going to make sure everyone, especially our children, can grow up and live, work, and raise their families in peace. He's going to make sure that they are taught how to think, not what to think. So ladies, everybody say, we the people. Here's what we need for a better future for Virginia, which we all want because our children are number 1. We need you to pray for our candidates. We need you to pray for our Commonwealth. We need you to pray for our country. I need you to get outside your comfort zone. That's where we grow. So I need you to get involved and volunteer. I need you to knock doors, make phone calls, write letters, tell your neighbors, tell your golf buddies, tell your bingo club. Hey, get them out there to vote. We need all hands on deck. And we need you to chip in. Some can give a little, some can give a lot. But not me, but we, with Glenn Youngkin and Winsome Sears. Is she amazing? And by the way, just like Alicia Andrews, by the way, I'm a big Alicia Andrews fan. Just like Alicia Andrews, Winsome Sears is a Marine. And we all know you can never have enough Marines around. So ladies and gentlemen, I love you. It is an honor to be your voice in the General Assembly. I hope you'll reelect me. I hope you'll give Glenn Youngkin a majority in the House of Delegates. And I hope we'll elect Glenn Youngkin for the governor, Winsome Sears for lieutenant governor, and Jason Miyares for attorney general. Thank you for an opportunity to speak. I just want to say again, I love all of you. I love our country. God bless you. God bless our Commonwealth. And God bless America. Thank you.
I agree. You can never have too many Marines, right, Winsome?
That's right.
I agree. We come in a pack. We can find each other. All right, next we have a very special treat, an educator, here to talk to you a little bit about what she's experienced. Miss Julie Perry.
Hey, how's everybody doing? All right, yes. So basically, I'm a teacher right here in Northern Virginia. I'm a public school teacher that's a Republican. Yes, we exist. And I'm also running for House of Delegates. I'm running because I've had a front row seat to see what's going on in these schools, and it's not good. This past year, I've had a front row seat to seeing the consequences of virtual learning. Boy, that was not a good situation. When we finally came back to school in March, I had a lot of students, their grades went from F's to C's and even B's. It tells you how important in-person learning really is. The other thing, too, is I'm seeing this word equity. Did you guys know that teacher evaluations, the General Assembly just added a standard to the teacher evaluations across the state of Virginia? So now we are going to be evaluated on this standard called equity. That has nothing to do with how we're teaching students to perform. A lot of teachers are terrified of this standard, but they're terrified to speak up because it's very dangerous to say you're a teacher and you're against this. It really is. And so basically, teachers are going to be forced to teach your kids to be divided. It's very uncomfortable to say to one student, you need to check your privilege, and to the other student, you're a victim. I have a learning disability, and it takes me longer to get things. When I was a kid, it took me longer to understand concepts. But if my teachers made me out to be a victim, I wouldn't be here today. And so we have to stop. We can't, telling a kid to check his privilege or her privilege and telling a kid that you're a victim, he or she's a victim, is terrible for both. What we need to do is encourage our kids to do our best. I can tell you, I'm in front of normally, 25 kids in a classroom, and I can tell you one size does not fit all. I'll have one student that is a fast learner. They finish things quickly, and I'll have another student that takes longer. That's normal. That's just the way we are. That's the way God made us. We were all made different. We were not meant to be the same. Just because, and you know what? The thing I really struggle with is the math thing as well. 3 years ago, I had a student who really struggled with reading and writing. The only SOL she could pass was a math SOL. And she was very good at math. And so she would constantly say, "Miss Perry, look what I got on my math test." And she was very proud of it. And I thought about her when they wanted to take away the advanced math courses before 11th grade. I'm like, students like her would not be able to shine in their talents, and that was just very heartbreaking for me. And this girl still has a special place in my heart to this day. And you know what? She still keeps in touch with me. And you know what? She's going to be 20 soon. So, you know what? We gotta shine for our best. We gotta love this country. We gotta teach our kids to love this country. And the last reason I'm running is because I want my students to see that if you're not happy with something, get out and get involved in the community. Run for office. You don't need to burn down a city. You don't need to loot, and you don't need to riot. Thank you.
What a teacher we have in Northern Virginia, right? All right, next we have Joe Mobley. Come on up, Joe.
Hey guys, it's Joe. It's me. Virginians, you guys are a beautiful bunch. Thanks so much for coming out to support the next governor of Virginia, Mr. Glenn Youngkin. And along those lines, can we just give it up for sometimes the man in the arena is a woman? We've got Alicia Andrews' run. We've got Julie Perry's run. We've got courageous Marines, even though they could have joined the Army. But Marines like Winsome back here running. We've got Sarah White running for delegate. Sometimes the man in the arena is a woman. I know. She's got my 6. I'm not afraid. But seriously, everyone is speaking about education. And we're not going to listen to the plane. We're going to listen to Joe Mobley. Joe Mobley. Remember that? Guys, education is important. And for too long, we can't blame Democrats and we can't blame the president, whoever the president is. For too long, us, we the people, we have let things in Loudoun County and Fairfax and Arlington and Northern Virginia go nuts. And Richmond and Virginia Beach, usually controlled by one party, but we let them go nuts. We let them go crazy. These are our schools, our school boards. The Commonwealth is ours. And like Ian said, I don't believe Massachusetts led. Virginia has led this nation from the beginning, okay? James Madison, Washington, from the beginning. And here we are. It's our moment again to lead. And there are a lot of courageous people, the speakers, the people who've been speaking in this building back here, on the must-see TV that's become our school board meetings. Guys, you have to do the right thing in the ballot box, not just for Glenn, because we're all voting for Glenn, the next governor of Virginia, but for your school board races. You've got to do the right thing at the ballot box, and I'm stepping on your applause so we can get done before the rain. So but seriously, let's think about what's been done. We're getting rid of advanced diplomas. We're getting rid of advanced math. And other states, and frankly other nations, they're pursuing excellence. They're pursuing STEM. They're pursuing math that we haven't even come up with because they're going after excellence. They're going for the next rung on the ladder. And what we've done is cut the ladder in half. Literally, we've cut the ladder in half. When 88 schools fail accreditation, they change the standard, and then just one school fails accreditation. That means that the accreditation failed. That means that we failed. The 87? Sorry, I was educated in Virginia, so math. The 87 schools magically got better? Of course not. Julie told you about the students' grades. We are doing a disservice, and it's going to destroy our children's future, okay? My about to be 4 children, so thank you to my wife, wherever you are out there. She's here somewhere, for teaching those precious kids, because I can't trust the Loudoun County, public school administration to do it. But what we're doing is a disservice that is going to manifest when these kids graduate. If they go to college, if they go straight to the workforce. Let me tell you something. Lockheed Martin and Prospecta and all of these technology firms in the DC Metroplex, they don't care where you came from. They care that you know how to do the math. They care that when you send the thing to Mars, it doesn't crash into it. Okay? What are we going to do? Are we going to strip our children's ability to compete for these jobs, to compete for these opportunities? Because the rest of the states and the rest of the nation, especially not China, the rest of the nations out there, they are not cutting their ladder in half. They're going for the next rung. All right? Glenn's not promising the moon. He's promising making Virginia the best place to work, raise a family, and what's the other thing, Glenn?
Live.
And live. Thank you. To live, work, and raise a family. Let's do it with them. We're in the crucible now. The crap is rising to the top. Let's scrape it off like it says in James 1, that meaning of the word testing. We're being tested now. Guys, the test is over. The fire's been lit. Let's scrape the soot off, and then our silversmith can look and see a pure reflection in a great state, Commonwealth, I know, don't boo me, of Virginia. Thanks, guys.
Now I'd like to welcome someone who's become a very dear friend of mine. Some of you know him by lots of different names. He's been called a little bit of everything. I like to call him the Mad Dad of Loudoun County. But most people know him as Brandon Michon.
Hello, everyone. I'm here this evening because I believe that Glenn Youngkin is the person that believes in our children and values their education. Earlier this year, I spoke to the school board that meets right behind me, and I told them to figure it out and raise the freaking bar. I grew up in Loudoun County. I went to elementary school, middle school here, high school. I'm a proud graduate of Loudoun Valley High School. It used to be an honor to be educated in Virginia and Loudoun County. It used to be something that you wore with a badge of honor and differentiated you from other places. Unfortunately, that standard has deteriorated over the last few years. One of the greatest takeaways from this shutdown was the online schooling. Not the online schooling part, but the fact that the curtain got pulled back on the education in Virginia. Parents saw what was going on in the classroom and the deficiencies that were happening, and they saw what their kids were learning, and they just didn't like it. The message from current leadership has been, it's okay to be mediocre. You know, dumb it down. No need for higher math. No need for higher education or advanced degrees. No need to excel. We should be teaching our kids to be educators, rocket scientists, mechanics, business owners, and achieve greatness through their education, and to push to be the best. Unfortunately, the weather doesn't look like it's holding up here. So how did we get here, and what do we do from this? It's a question I've asked myself over the last 6 months. Was it purposely planned? Was it by accident? Maybe, maybe not. Was it all of our faults in some ways? I think so. We took our eye off the ball and let an easy pop fly fall. Our education system's breakdown is an example of the failed leadership and highlights the importance of state and local elected officials, and that parents need to be involved. Over the last 6 months, I've got to know Glenn Youngkin. I think he's the leader that we need for this Commonwealth. He is a parent. He is a man of integrity. He understands the value of hard work. He knows how to lead and what it takes to do so. As a governor of Virginia, he will put our children and their education first. He will not trade their futures for favors. He will bring Virginia to the back to the top of the education system. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the man who I think will figure it out for Virginia, the next governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin.
Hey, everybody. How we doing? All right. Great to see you. Hey, thank you for coming. All right, everybody. There is a storm coming, and it's not that one. It's not that one. Friends, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you being here tonight to actually talk about an incredibly important issue. But first, I do want to make a few introductions because this race is not about me, it's about us. It's about us. So first, there's a bunch of folks here that are running too that we have to elect all of them. Delegate Dave LaRock. Where's Dave? Dave! Where are We've got Scott. Where is Scott Pio? Scott, where are you? Greg Malthrop, where are you? Here we go. Nick Clementi. Here you go, Nick. Maria Martin. Maria, where are you? There you are. Woo, 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 woo. Gary Pan. Where's Gary? Julie Perry, you already met. You already met. Winsome Sears. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Harold Pion. Harold, back here. John McGuire, who you already heard from. Always need another SEAL in the room. Okay, this is like introducing my children. Who did I forget? Bill. There we go, Bill. All right, Bill, everybody raise your hand right here. Perfect. Whoa, there goes my list. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for running. Thank you for caring. Thank you for loving the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you. And in case I missed something, my name's Glenn Youngkin and I'm running for governor. Now this campaign is about making Virginia the best state, the best place to live and work and raise a family. And there is nothing more critical to Virginia's future than education. Education has the power to lift people up, to lift people out, to provide opportunities that they can only dream about, to realize the most vivid dreams. It gives every child a chance. Every child. And when I'm governor, we will all be about giving every child a chance to learn, to grow, to succeed, to believe. That's what Virginia is all about. Now, friends, reforming education in Virginia is more than just putting 10 bullet points on a piece of paper. This is about our kids. This is about parents. This is about families. This is about teachers. We're letting our kids down. We are. We're not just here in Loudoun County recognizing we're letting our kids down, but across this great Commonwealth, we are letting our kids down. In the coming weeks, we will be rolling out 3 phases of educational reform. We are going to be restoring standards of excellence. We're going to be investing in our children, in our teachers, and yes, in our facilities. And we're going to be empowering parents. That's what we're going to do. Tonight we're talking about phase 1, where we will revise Virginia's low expectations for our schools. We're going to refocus learning on student achievement and establish transparency, transparent metrics and accountability to restore excellence in Virginia's public schools. This is what we're talking about tonight. In phase 2, we'll talk about investing. Yes, investing in our students. Yes, raising teacher pay. And yes, investing in the facilities. And finally, as I said, we're going to empower parents. And we are going to embark in a mission for school choice like Virginia has never seen. But tonight I want to begin the discussion by focusing on curriculum and the standards by which we assess our schools. I've heard you. I've heard your outrage. I've actually met with so many of you. And let me start by telling you how impressed, how humbled I am by the fact that all of you have decided to stand up for all of our kids. Thank you. Thank you. This is why we're starting with restoring standards. Loudoun County is ground zero. Absolutely ground zero for the fight to return our schools to a curriculum that prepares students for the future. For the future. The classroom is not the place for a political agenda. It is not. The classroom is a place where we focus on a rigorous academic agenda, not a political one. Our children should not be the victims of the left liberal progressives' cultural war. Full stop. We must start teaching our children how to think, not what to think. This is at the core. I've heard your concerns about politics entering the classroom, but I've also heard your concerns about the reduction in standards. And as a result, I've heard your concerns about the reduction in achievement. Friends, education is often viewed as a local matter. It's often viewed as a local matter, but I believe and I know that a governor must set the direction, not a direction, for our education system. And quite frankly, I'm tired of politicians lowering standards and yet calling it a success, setting our sights on the lowest common denominator instead of the highest hopes of our children. So here's a simple fact. When he was governor, Terry McAuliffe and his political appointees lowered standards. And he dragged our children's performance down with those diminished expectations. For those of you that are skeptical, let's look at the data. From 2014 to 2021, Virginia's national ranking for student achievement on advanced placement tests dropped 7 places, from 3rd to 10th. Today, the number of 4th graders who can meet national standards on reading has dropped 5 points since the start of the McAuliffe era. Error, E-R-R-O-R. By 2019, Virginia's 4th grade reading standard was ranked dead last in the nation, down 33 places from just 6 years prior. On 8th grade math, the overall failure rate is 62%. Friends, 62%. 5 out of 8 students can't meet the math standard. And the failure rate with African American students is 84%. 5 out of 6 students. Among Hispanic students, 72%. Nearly 3 out of 4 students. Shocking and unacceptable. Again, this was after the McAuliffe State Board of Education lowered the math proficiency standard. When we set lower standard, is it any surprise that we get declining results? There's an often quoted phrase to describe the McAuliffe approach to education, and it is that the soft bigotry of low expectations is upon us. Friends, this is where we are. I often say that Terry McAuliffe believes in the policy of every child being left behind. We cannot stand for this any longer. And yet, despite dramatic declines that were deemed statistically significant by the National Center for Education Statistics, the McAuliffe administration reduced school accreditation standards so that only one Virginia school has been denied accreditation. Only one. When prior to the lowering of standards, 88 Virginia schools failed to receive accreditation. Friends, so imagine a parent's confusion. Reading and math scores are dropping, and Virginia has the lowest standard among the 50 states for measuring reading and math skills. But after lowering standards and seeing reduced results, our current leaders turn around and they tell us we have virtually no failing schools. Let's call this what it is. It's a shell game. That's what it is. It's a sham that makes politicians feel good when Virginia's children are failing. And when I'm governor, this shift to mediocrity, this illusion over success ends. It ends, friends. No more cooking the books. No more hiding from parents how the system fails their children. No more lowering expectations when our children should be aiming for the stars. Access to quality education is the civil rights issue of our time. And I refuse to allow our children to be sentenced to a lifetime of mediocrity. We must have the courage to set high standards. We must have the courage to invest in our students, and our teachers, and our facilities. And then we must demand results from our schools. As part of the first phase of my plan to restore excellence in Virginia schools, we're going to raise standards. We're going to absolutely create transparency, and we're going to demand school accountability. And we are going to raise our sights on student achievement, because student success should not merely be a talking point in Richmond. It is the pathway to unlimited success. And every Virginia child should be on that pathway. So here's my plan for stronger curriculum and higher standards on day one. I will sign an executive order returning Virginia's schools to pre-McAuliffe standards. No longer will Virginia race to the bottom when it comes to expectations. We are setting high standards. Second, I will direct the Virginia Department of Education to protect advanced math classes and the use of advanced diplomas. We all know that our students need proficiency in subjects like math to be fluent in the economy of the future. Third, we will refocus on the fundamentals of reading, writing, and math. Friends, we know, research shows us that a child who can read, write, and do basic math calculations at grade level in the third grade is much more likely to exceed not just in school, but to graduate with a diploma and be prepared to run as fast as they possibly can imagine. We'll bring in a renewed focus on student proficiency in critical subjects, because these are the building blocks of our children's future. Fourth, to send a signal to the McAuliffe-Northam era that the era of mediocrity is over, I will fully utilize the full power of the governor's office to appoint a new Secretary of Education. To appoint a new school superintendent. And to appoint new members of the State Board of Education. I hope the state superintendent is still there when I take office, so that I can escort him to the door. We will also establish a Fight the Bureaucracy Commission to make recommendations on reducing the education bureaucracy that we know exists and redirecting those dollars into the classroom. That's what we're going to do. Fifth on my list and I want to make sure everybody hears this. On day one, I will issue an order banning the teaching of critical race theory in our schools. We know this. We know this. We know this. Friends, we know. We need to bring the focus of our children to bringing people together, not separating them. And Virginia's future, our future, will be made better together as opposed to divided. We know this. Furthermore, we will expand the number of year-round academic governor schools like Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. We will, in fact, partner with the private sector so that funds are not diverted away from our public schools, and we'll focus on a variety of subject areas to bring a focus on excellence. So these new schools will adopt rigorous curriculum aimed at stretching our children's potential. This is what we have to do. Consistent with this philosophy, I will not let the standards be lowered for admissions into Thomas Jefferson or any other academy of excellence that we create along the way. And we will create a series of support services to help all students prepare for admission to governor schools all across Virginia. We must do this. Now let's be clear. Let's be clear. A 4-year college degree is not the only path to success. It's not. Our children have been told a lie, that they have to incur $50,000 to $70,000 of debt in order to have an amazing future here in Virginia. My standard for every high school diploma will be that that graduate is either career ready or college ready when they accept that diploma. We need more graduates with the skills that translate immediately into in-demand jobs. We need to emphasize skill development, apprenticeships, and relevant 2-year degrees at community colleges or in technical training schools so that our high school graduates do not have to enroll in college, in 4-year colleges if they choose not to, and yet they can have the wonderful, wonderful life, career, and opportunities that Virginia will offer. And we can't forget our many, many students with disabilities. We will make sure they have the resources to have a path to fulfill their dreams as well. Now, I believe there is no greater travesty than adults sacrificing our children's future for political expediency. When Terry McAuliffe lowered accreditation standards, when he lowered math proficiency standards, when he put Virginia on a path to the lowest reading standards in the country, he set up our kids for failure in order for him to be able to say that our schools are better. But the people of Virginia will not be confined to a future of lesser dreams and fewer opportunities because of a culture of mediocrity. We care too much about our kids, and we believe too much in their potential to accept the prescribed vision of lesser opportunities from politicians who lack vision. We will not accept this. I have a vision for the children of Virginia, that they would not just survive, but they would thrive in Virginia's classrooms, that they would be challenged to reach their full potential, that they would have rigorous curriculum that would prepare them for the workplace of the future, for the college opportunity for the future, and that all of our children will see their dream opportunity here in Virginia. That's the Virginia we will build together. That's the Virginia that we must lock arms and march forward together. And this is just the first step. It's just the first step of restoring standards in our curriculum and restoring standards in our schools. We're also going to invest in our teachers. We're going to invest in our students. We're going to invest in our facilities. And we're going to empower parents. This is the course we will chart because our children are worth it. They deserve so much better. We must do better for them. And this fall, when we go to the ballot and we choose our governor, our lieutenant governor, our attorney general, our delegates, our school boards, our Commonwealth's attorney, our state supervisors, our sheriffs, we all must know in our heart that there is a much better way. And Glenn Youngkin, Winsome Sears, Jason Miaras, and all the people that you've seen tonight absolutely want to walk with you to that better way. Friends, I cannot wait to go serve as your 74th governor. God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia. And thank you very much.